Hey guys, Revenge here from Immortals, and we are back, and this time we're going to be talking about Graves, not jungle, Graves top and mid. Graves has obviously been a really strong champ for a while. I've been seeing him recently being played in the solo lanes, and I looked into it, and I'm going to show you guys and tell you guys some things you need to know to play him in your ranked games. Personally, Crime City Graves is one of my favorite skins. We're just jumping into a practice tool right now. Alright, so jumping into the runes, in almost every Graves top game, I like to take Fleet, Overheal, Bloodline, Last Stand, and Conditioning and Resolve. And the reason for this is because Graves works really well with move speed. So using the Fleet move speed and healing to maneuver around and auto attack people, which I'll get into later, is really useful because Graves' auto attacks can be blocked. Bloodline obviously for lifesteal, because lifesteal works really well on this champ since he gets a lot of resists. Conditioning is interesting on Graves because it increases his armor and MR by 5%. And Graves naturally gains a lot of armor from his passive, Quick Draw. And the Last Stand is just a good rune for fighting, especially when you get low a lot, and Revitalize for healing, because you're going to be building a lot of lifesteal with this build. So, Graves. I'm going to show you guys why Graves is kind of a really unique champion. He has probably the most unique auto attack based abilities in the game. So, as you can see, I can auto attack a creep here and here, and I have 2 bullets to my kit, right? Every time I auto attack 2 bullets, I have to reload and then I gain 2 bullets back. So already that's like a really unique feature of the champion, right? So then we have his E, and his E actually gives you another bullet, and it starts stacking something called Quick Draw, or True Grit, sorry. And the more grit you have, the more armor you gain. And if you can, as you can see, if you keep Eing, you're just gaining grit. And the more grit you have, the more armor you gain. And that's really useful to keep in combat, especially when you're against a lot of AD champions. As you can see, I just dropped my grit, but it goes up to 8. And when it's up at 8, you keep 48 bonus armor, just like that with a passive. And the way you keep your grit is actually by auto-attacking things. Auto-attacking champions, auto-attacking monsters, and that's why Graves works so well in the jungle. But looking back at solo lane, he's a bit strange because obviously auto-attacking people is a lot harder in solo lane because they could hide behind creeps, but that's not really the purpose of Graves top. The purpose of Graves top isn't just to like kill your opponent and completely smash your lane, but he's kind of something that we call in competitive play a priority pick. He can keep pushing waves over and over and over, and he obviously scales really well. Going to look at items, the reason he scales really well is because there's items such as Shield Bow. Shield Bow is an item that gives a lot of lifesteal, attack speed, and crit. And crit works super well with Graves' Graves' passive. Crit is super good on this champion, and I'm sure you've played against a Graves jungle who's crit you, and you just don't know what just happened, and you're like, okay, what is going on? Well, now you can build crit and lifesteal, so, and that also is on Bloodthirster as well, so if we're gonna level up our gold. The build usually is Shield Bow, obviously boots depending on the game, aren't, tabbies or merc treads usually. Bloodthirster, because it gives crit and lifesteal as well. And then we start to get a little, then it starts becoming specific to the game we're in. For example, if we're against a lot of tanks, we can go Lord Dominic's Regards because it has crit as well. And it gives armor pen. So Lord Dom's is usually a great buy for Graves. And then you could look at Phantom Dancer because it gives a lot of attack speed and crit. It's a really good item. Or even Merc Scimitar because it also gives crit and QSS. So a full build for Graves will usually look something like this. And when you get these full items, you are extremely hard to kill because of the Bloodthirster and Overheal shield, which you can see is pretty massive. The amount of armor you're gaining from your passive and conditioning, this is just a super strong scaling build. So that is your goal as lane Graves. You play to scale, you play to get your two core items, Shield Bow and Bloodthirster, and then you're pretty much set to just kill everyone. And I hope you have a great time trying it out, guys. This is pretty much all you need to know to play lane Graves and build lane Graves. Let me know if you guys have played Graves before, if you played him again with the new items, old items. Feel free to drop that in the comments. Thanks for watching.